Welcome to Chamber Exchange, a TV show. My name is Tim Murray, President and CEO of the Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce. And Chamber Exchange, a TV show, is an opportunity to bring on our members and guests to talk about issues of economic development, job creation, and good things here in Central Massachusetts. We want to thank the sponsors of the show, Bank Hometown, for making it happen. And I'm thrilled to have with us on this segment, Kelsa Zereski, who is the president of the Reliant Foundation. Welcome, Kelsa.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks for having me.
So, Kelsa, you've been on the show before, and occasionally we do some updates, and certainly there's worth some updating, given everything we've all been through this past year with COVID-19. But for those who might not be familiar with the mission of the Reliant Foundation, maybe you could share it with our viewers.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. So, Reliant Foundation is a public charity. We're an independent organization, and the things that we focus on are children's mental health and behavioral health. We're trying to support our youth out there who are going through a lot of stress and anxiety these days. And we also work with individuals through other nonprofits who are trying to reach recovery from substance use disorder. During the pandemic, unfortunately, the opioid overdoses only got worse. And there was a lot of relapse with people who had been in recovery, and then just all the stress of the pandemic brought it all back. So those are the issues that we work mostly on, and we do those in Central Mass and in MetroWest.
And this past year, again, challenged in many of the ways, some of which you described. Reliant stepped up. Reliant Foundation stepped up in a fashion in awarding about $700,000 in grants. And what was the kind of the rationale, the thinking of you and the team and the board in that regard?
Yeah, well, I'm really proud to say that being a small organization, we have 2.5 staff and we have 15 trustees. We can be really nimble when things like a global pandemic come up. And so what we did is we carved out, initially it was $100,000 to try to make some emergency grants back in March. And that ended up by May being $220,000 in emergency grants. And we did some non-traditional things. So one of the things I love about Reliant Foundation is that our ear is always to the ground on the community needs. So some of the emergency grants we made earlier in the year were for things like childcare for frontline responders. Food was a huge issue, and I think it still is a huge issue. Supporting some of the area shelters as well. So we did some things that were unusual. We also did some things that were really typical, but being done in a new way, like virtual visits. Virtual mental health, virtual behavioral health, virtual recovery coaching. All the charities we work with needed to buy Zoom licenses and needed to figure out ways to get online with their clients. And so a lot of the funding that we provided went to that too. And then the balance of the $700,000 was granted out this fall. And that really focused heavily on the mental health and behavioral health needs of our communities, and with some dollars still spent on substance use disorder programs.
Yeah, I mean, this COVID-19 situation really exposed a lot of the disparities that are out there, and whether it be issues around healthcare, mental health issues, addiction issues, but the technology issues. I mean, and even the most sophisticated organizations with budgets had to play catch up, and that is all the more challenging for many individuals, organizations, and nonprofits that are squeaking it by every week. So these must have been critical and very well received.
Yeah, absolutely. When this all started to hit, and we were realizing how bad it was in early March, I actually reached out by email to all of the organizations that we had funded over the last 2 previous years, and just said, what's going on? What do you need? And some were having to close. And I mean, just imagine that all of your income comes from programs where people are in person. Now suddenly you can't offer them in person. So we did offer some operating funds to the Boys and Girls Clubs in our service area. And just everything all of a sudden was very different. And I really applaud our fellow charities out there who dug deep and found ways to stay open or change their services. Maybe previously they were running a basketball league for youth and families, and now suddenly they're delivering meals. I love that our community was so resilient during this.
Yeah, and it's something maybe perhaps just some individuals and organizations take for granted, that we have this philanthropic community and foundations that can step up and fill needs. and that is critical. But these things don't happen by accident. It happens because there are individuals and businesses and organizations that contribute and find ways to give, so that we have these organizations that can respond in good times and in challenging times like this past year. And I know one of your major fundraising events is your golf tournament.
Yes, yes. So as you can imagine, we had quite a challenge in 2020 holding our annual Drive for a Difference. That's our biggest fundraiser every year. So what we did was we postponed it to the end of June, and we did hold it, but we held it with tea times and no gatherings. So this year, I'm really excited for a more robust event. I'm hoping we have all of our sponsors and donors back. We really need you, donors. We really need you, because that's the way we do our work. So that's going to be on May 24th, and it's going to be held at Pleasant Valley Country Club. And again, we really count on that revenue to help us make the grants that we make.
And so if someone's watching out there, if they want to learn more on how to sponsor or participate in purchase a foursome, what can they do?
So the best thing to do is go right on ReliantFoundation.org and check out our events page. Everything about the Drive for a Difference will be right there. Or just shoot us an email at foundation@ReliantFoundation.org.
And I assume also on that website, if there's a organization or people want to learn more on how they might, apply at some point or be considered for a grant, they can go to the website as well.
100%. So for an emergency, please email foundation@ReliantFoundation.org. But for our usual grant cycle, which is typically an October 1 deadline, all that information can be found under grants on our website.
Great. Well, Kelsa, thank you for being with us, and we'll keep our fingers crossed for May 24th and good weather. I hope to be out there with you.
Thank you.
And we want to thank you, our viewers. This is our first segment. Stay with us. We've got more here on Chamber Exchange.
These days, you've got your hands full in life. That's why we help you bank simply and securely with tools like Face ID and Touch ID. It's why we make it easy to make purchases on the go and get cash back while you're at it. Why we help you quickly deposit checks wherever you are. And it's why we lend a hand with sending and receiving money right from your phone. So even when you're on the move, you can manage your finances. Bank Hometown. Unlock your potential.
Are you a Central Massachusetts business owner? Do you want a voice in public policy and economic development? Are you looking to increase your network or generate new business leads? A membership with the Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce will provide you with a variety of tools and opportunities to help you stay connected with the diverse and growing business community of the region.
We just started right out of school, so we didn't know the team of professionals that we were going to need to start our company. So we were able to get put in touch with people who offered those services, and that helped us out a lot.
Joining the chamber can provide you access to great resources, connections that you wouldn't otherwise have.
Serving as New England's largest chamber of commerce, the chamber is a proud supporter and advocate of the local business community.
Advocacy is the biggest benefit that I see. The chamber is there to benefit business and frankly to benefit economic development for all of us, residents or business owners.
Join today to take advantage of the Chamber's wide range of resources and benefits.
Let's all do our part to safely support small business during these challenging times. From delicious dinners, to great fashion finds, to that perfect pick-me-up, Worcester is open for business. Join your community in entering the We Love Worcester photo contest today. Visit discovercentralmass.org for details. Worcester, we're in this together.